So, when you are Attorney General, you're going to be faced with questions of whether or not you represent the state. And you may not like or agree with the program. Now, I'll give you an example in just a minute. I think you start with asking, is there a good faith legal basis to do so? And that's where you have to start. Is there a good faith legal basis? And we should always fight against state-sponsored discrimination, which I believe are your marriage equality laws. That is not where we should be. And not so far in our state's or our country's history, my marriage may have been considered illegal. So why would I ever want to do that to somebody else? The voter ID law. You know, I don't believe we should ever put more hurdles in front of people trying to exercise their most essential right to vote. We've had people give their lives, risk their lives, be beaten to an inch of their life, just so someone can have access to the polls. And this last legislature has restricted access, and they're not even hiding the fact that they're doing so. So you're asking me whether I think we should defend the voter ID law? I think it is a solution in search of a problem, because right now our 71 elected district attorneys deal with issues that happen with voting, and there are none enough to call into question any of our elections. Thank you.
Thank you. That's certainly an important question. It's become a central issue in this campaign. I've made clear that I would not defend Wisconsin's laws that ban marriage equality because I believe they violate the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. I've also made clear that I would not continue the voter ID institute. I would stop that because I believe Judge Edelman was right in his decision where he pointed out that the voter ID law under review would potentially disenfranchise 300,000 Wisconsin voters. That is a very, very serious step. And I believe the Department of Justice, contrary, should be on the side of people trying to exercise that right to vote, and to be a strong advocate for the idea that everyone who's eligible to vote should be able to vote. We've had just the opposite with our past Attorney General, who has spent years, untold man-hours, untold sums of money, trying to investigate voter fraud. They found a grand total of fewer than a dozen cases in the entire state, an entire multi-year investigation. But now we're seeing a new attack on voting rights and the specter of voter intimidation in this state. I don't believe that is in keeping with Wisconsin's great traditions of voter access and the great traditions that we have of some of the highest voter turnout in the country. The standard we should use in looking at laws is whether it violates the Constitution of the United States or the state of Wisconsin. And I've said many times, there are laws that I have voted against as a state legislator, but I'll defend them because I believe they are consistent with the Constitution. Many laws, but there are some extreme examples where fundamental rights are at stake, where I would not defend those laws because I believe they violate the rights of our citizens.
I tend to agree. We have to go into our position both as district attorneys and as attorneys general, defending the Constitution, upholding the Constitution, enforcing our laws. As district attorney, I've had to make some unpopular decisions with my law enforcement. If they come to me with a referral for a drug case, for example, and I can look at the reports and I can see that the search is bad, I'm bound by the Constitution. I cannot selectively apply the Constitution or use it to achieve the desired result. And with both voter ID and now unconstitutional ban against same-sex marriage, I think that's what occurred. We looked at the Constitution, and I think Judge Crabb hit the nail on the head when she talked about the unconstitutional ban against same-sex marriage, when she said that this wasn't about religious beliefs, this wasn't about approval of a lifestyle, this was about equal protection, and that we do not discriminate against people based on sex, race, creed, or sexual orientation. Voter ID. I've prosecuted cases of election fraud. In those cases, they're mostly white people who either voted twice or they voted when they weren't allowed to vote. And so it's not about voter identification fraud. This is about voter suppression. And our Attorney General does not get to use the Constitution as a means to an end. And so as District Attorney, I've made those tough decisions when I know that I have to tell an officer that I can't pursue a particular course of action. And I would do the same thing as Attorney General because that's an oath that I've taken. It's an oath that I would take very seriously.